Welcome to the Senior Basketball Analyst. Fourth stringer here with you as usual. Tonight we're going to do the Chicago Bulls defeating the Oklahoma City Thunder at home. Uh, the story was Derrick Rose. We got to see Derrick Rose in attack mode being successful, and it's good to see because you never want to see a player just unraveling at the seams and falling apart due to injury. And Derrick Rose was, and what was great about it was he stayed in attack mode and turned a really awful game. He was horrendous. He had no explosion around the basket. He was making mistakes all over the place. He was not playing well, but he kept at it and kept asserting himself and pressing the issue against not just one of the best point guards in basketball, but the most aggressive and physically opposing point guard in basketball, in Russell Westbrook. He kept attacking him. And, Derrick came out on top in the matchup and in the game, wins the game. Derrick Rose, 29 points, 12 of 25 shooting. And, he threw 12 assists on top of that. And it was really good to see. And I think this highlights something that it's been a pet peeve of mine. Well, there's multiple pet peeves because I, see so much Chicago media. One, stop with the narrative, whose team is this? Doesn't matter whose team it is. You know whose team it is? It's Jerry Reinsdorf's team. Okay? Like, if we really want to say whose team is it? Jerry Reinsdorf runs the team. Gar Forman is the general manager, and his boss is John Paxson. Those are the people that run the team. Okay? Fred Hoiberg is the head coach. Those guys run the team. Whose team is it on the court? Well, it's everybody's team. You don't need, look, if I have all of these scores, I've never seen a team that had so many scores. It was man, nobody can get the ball. They took Mark Aguirre and put him on the bad boys, and Mark Aguirre fit right in and win championships. It doesn't make any sense when people acted like there's not enough basketball to go around. Tonight, Derrick Rose takes 25 field goal attempts. Jimmy Butler takes 20. That's 45 field goal attempts. Derrick Rose with 29, Jimmy Butler with 26. There you go. That's how they can coexist on a court and there be enough shots to go around. When people say these things, it makes no sense. And one of the good things about the commentary, at least, that they did bring up is that they brought up the fact that, hey, look, you could say this all you want and you can ask about, whose whose team is it? Is there enough basketballs to go around? All of this nonsense. You can do that all you want. But the bottom line is all of these great teams throughout history, most of them had multiple Hall of Famers. So when you say there's not enough ball to go around, that's just you trying to create a controversy for the sake of conversation or whatever reason. It's very similar to this nonsense. Well, actually, this is much worse. This nonsense where Butler and Rose dislike each other. You ask them, and they say, "Nah, I don't know where that's coming from." All of the articles, you can go and read articles until your eyes bleed. Nobody can source anyone that's not anonymous. It's just a bunch of anonymous sources. I think someone made this up. I'm saying it. I think this is just like the Honey Nut Cheerios thing with Kevin Garnett and Carmelo Anthony that they both deny that nobody heard and everyone in the media just claimed it was true. I think someone made it up. I think somebody said that Derrick and Jimmy hate each other and one of them's got to go. Someone said that somewhere along the line. Run with it because they feel like doing that, and that's interesting to them to do that. But I didn't. Who's saying this? Who's saying this stuff? Dan Bernstein of The Score, trying to foment more of this BS, except he tries to be smarter about it. So he made this whole proclamation and giving his listeners homework. You watch in this free-flowing offense when Jimmy Butler can be the point guard or Derrick Rose, you watch how often they're fighting over who's going to get the inbounds pass after made baskets. Now, you've been watching Bulls games. Have you seen any evidence of that? Of course not. He just made that up. That was just something he was saying just to make it up. I put it on Instagram, sent out a tweet about it. first play of the Bulls regular season. The tap goes to Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose caught it and tossed it to Jimmy Butler without even looking at him and ran down court. There is no rift that's made up. From now on, every time you hear it, assume that the person is saying that is lying. Until you see some evidence of it, you see Jimmy Butler and Derrick Rose saying it, assume it's a lie. Let's address some. So let's get back to the positives, though. Kevin Durant, the jump shot is sharp. Now, his wheels, not so much. He does not have the explosion he normally has vertically or in terms of lateral movement. He's not cutting as hard as we've seen in the past. Kevin Durant is excellent at moving without the ball. Not so much right now, but he'll get there. He can still score. And it's amazing how great a player he is that he can still score with the bad wheel. It's amazing. Russell Westbrook, in what was a less aggressive performance than I expected, Russell Westbrook still nearing a triple-double. Excellent, excellent performance. You know, I wanted him to play better because I wanted Russell to go out and get 40. I had my popcorn ready. I was sitting there. I was like, yeah. I was like, get him, Russ. I wanted Russ to go out and have one of those games where he's attacking all night and takes 30 shots. That's what I wanted to see. But Russ was, don't want to say subdued because he's never subdued, and he was still, throwing a lot of questionable passes and things like that. But even though he does things that look like bad decisions, still 10 assists for Russell Westbrook, only 2 turnovers. Russell Westbrook is an incredible basketball player. He's incredible. And not just in his physical ability, he's incredible up here because the dude has laser focus. He's so focused. And it's one of those things that doesn't get talked about. It's kind of like Kevin Garnett's intelligence never gets talked about. Certain aspects of players don't get talked about, but Russell Westbrook's ability to concentrate and play hard consistently is incredible. And I'm always amazed every time I watch him play. Now, let's get to some of the problems I had with this game. Hoiberg's offense looks really good when it's crisp and when the Bulls can run it well. The problem is they don't do things the right way usually. And really the only time it looked really sharp was when Noah was in the game. This seems like something that Noah just fits in like a glove. And Noah looked great all night long. He was solid defensively. He had some problems with Eric Cantor, but as we know, Joakim Noah is not a great individual defender on the block. He's just not. He's better than he used to be because he's bulked up so much and gotten so much stronger, but he still doesn't have that natural strength that like an Enes Kanter has. Enes Kanter is a load on the block. It's frustrating. The only thing, look, Enes Kanter would be one of the best centers in the league if he wasn't such a bad defender. And I honestly believe Enes Kanter is probably the worst defender in rotation on any team. There's people worse than him, but they're not playing. They don't play. But in terms of his ability to get on the block and score, he has a decent pick and pop game. And then he's a solid rebounder. Both ends of the floor, too. He can grab offensive rebounds, too, because he's so physically strong. Enes Kanter is an imposing guy. And he's going to be vital for Oklahoma City if they're going to challenge for a championship. They're not. And I'm going to tell you why. So far, Billy Donovan, not impressed. Not impressed at all. And in fact, some of the time I was wondering what Oklahoma City was doing because I understand that it's going to take time for an offense to manifest itself and be crisp. If you want to look like Golden State Warriors, that takes years. You want to look like Oklahoma or the San Antonio Spurs, the Atlanta Hawks, that takes multiple seasons together. But in terms of me being able to see what you're trying to do and pick out your sets and then start to be able to see what the play calls are, that's instantaneous. And with the Chicago Bulls, I can instantly see what they're trying to do. They just struggle to execute some, but I can see it. I see what they're doing. I have watched the Oklahoma City Thunder games this year, and just like the Bulls, I've watched 3 games this year. Oklahoma City, I have no idea what they're doing, other than the same thing they did under Brooks. Here's a Russell Westbrook, my turn possession. Then here's a Kevin Durant, my turn possession. That's all they're doing right now. That is all they're doing. And look, here's the thing. It's early. I don't want to close the book on Billy Donovan and say he stinks or anything like that. But so far, he's not adding anything to this equation. He's not adding anything. And you may ask, you may say, well, hey, Russell Westbrook kind of just runs the thing. So when Westbrook's out of the game, it's still the same old stuff. DJ Augustine's running the point. It's the same old stuff. Same old stuff. So I don't know what they're doing offensively. I have no idea what the point of hiring this guy is if this is what they're going to do offensively. You could have just kept the old, glasses and suit draped over the chair, aka Scott Brooks. You could have just left him as the coach if you're going to do this. Defensively, they're a joke. Defensively, they're horrendous. Horrendous. In terms of fundamentals. Now, because Russell Westbrook is such a great athlete, and Serge Ibaka is one of the best shot blockers in the league, and Kevin Durant is such a great athlete. These guys play so hard. They mount defensive stands. It's not like they can't play, but that's all the talent. I'm saying when I'm watching the Atlanta Hawks, that's part of why a lot of the things they do are so interchangeable, because they use sound principles on both ends of the floor. That's why they can plug a guy in and then it kind of looks the same, because he's going to do the same things. He just may not do them as well. When Ibaka comes out the game, all of the rim protection just goes away. They can't stop anybody in the paint at all as soon as he leaves the game, because nobody else on the team has his talent level. So I'm watching Nick Collison. Nick Collison was trying to guard. Oh my goodness. Nick Collison was trying to deal with Taj Gibson. Nick Collison's time to retire. Nick Collison finished this game with 0 points, 0 rebounds, 2 fouls, and a turnover in 8 minutes of play. He was on the floor for 8 minutes and recorded no statistics. None. He was just out there getting dunked on by Taj Gibson. Taj was terrorizing this dude. And I'm watching the game and I'm just like, man, this team, players get exposed on this team because they don't have any team concepts that matter. Down the stretch, they continue to switch these pick and rolls. First of all, personnel, I don't know why they're switching all pick and roll situations. I don't know why they're doing that, because they don't have a lot of great individual defenders. Other than that, Westbrook, Durant, and Ibaka, the rest of these guys do not individually defend that well. And some of them are really bad defenders. They had a Russell Westbrook. It was Derrick Rose and Pau Gasol. That's a go-to. That's one of the go-to combination two-man games that Hoiberg will go to. Derrick Rose, Pau Gasol, pick and pop. Because Gasol's not going to roll for the most part. He's going to step back for that jump shot, and he has range out to the three-point line, so he can do that. Derrick Rose in a pick and pop situation. Enes Kanter and Russell Westbrook are switching this. Switching it to what end? To what end? I'll tell you to what end. They switched it, I think, 4 times. Once led to a Pau Gasol easy post up over Russell Westbrook, because he's a foot taller than Westbrook, literally. And the other 3 led to easy baskets by Derrick Rose. Easy baskets. He banked one of those in like he was shooting by himself, because Kanter can't defend in the paint. He certainly has no hope of defending on the perimeter. And he was doing that thing where the guy is shuffling his feet before the offensive player even does anything, because he knows he's skittish, because he knows I have no hope here. I'm out on an island with one of the quickest players in the league, and I'm a center. I have no hope here. Why they repeatedly just switch. And it's not like these were screens where Gasol, waylaid Westbrook and he has no chance of recovering, so you switch because it's an emergency. They were just switching it as part of the strategy. I don't know what Billy Donovan is doing when he does that. I just don't know what he's doing. And again, not sounding an alarm. They're This is Oklahoma City's sixth game. This is not. This is Billy Donovan's sixth game as an NBA head coach. They have plenty of time to install anything Billy Donovan's heart desires. So this is not Billy Donovan needs to be fired or something like that. He's not incompetent like David Blatt. It's not that kind of situation. I'm just saying I'm holding these coaches responsible for their strategies. Same with Fred Hoiberg. Fred, I'm going to tell you like this, man. Having a front court of Doug McDermott, Nikola Mirotic, and Pau Gasol, that's not going to get it done. It's not going to get you close to a championship, not even close. It's not going to get it done. And I'm going to tell you why it's not going to get it done. Those guys are all awful defenders. Mirotic is the closest thing because he does give you an effort, so he will make some defensive plays. Pau Gasol stands like a statue half the time. He doesn't even try to move defensively. He doesn't help anybody. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything. He gets posted up, gets bullied around, gets beaten all over the court. He's not doing anything. Doug McDermott is not capable of guarding anybody in the NBA. And again, as I already stated about Mirotic, he does put forth an effort, but he's limited because he just doesn't know what to do yet. Look, none of these guys is Dirk, okay? If you're going to go out and get 25 a game, then fine, you're a bad defender. But when you're this bad defensively, you have to be giving me serious offense. What are these players doing offensively that says they have to play even though they don't guard their man? What about them? It's not like Taj Gibson and Joakim Noah are non-functioning offensive players. That doesn't make any sense. And moreover, even when it's a guy like Tristan Thompson is still has a function offensively in terms of his ability to catch lobs and offensive rebound. So just because you don't have a jump shot doesn't mean you can't play. It's this stuff that the Bulls. So in terms of his rotations, you can't start this group. This group starting makes no sense. I need a defensive big somewhere in the lineup at all times. Taj and Noah come in the game, and the whole posture of the team changes. Whole posture of the team. I need Taj or Joakim playing with Pau Gasol. I need one or the other. I can't have what's going on right now. And if the Bulls want to compete for a championship, if they don't want to compete for a championship, well then, hey, jog up and down and do whatever you want. And I'll tell you one other thing that makes this even worse. Derrick Rose is an awful defender at the point of attack. So you're saying you're bad at the point of attack and you're bad at the rim. That's why Jimmy Butler made those statements about the Bulls' defense. And then Fred Hoiberg follows it up by saying, okay, I'm going to remove one of my defenders from the starting lineup in Snell, put him on the bench, and put Dougie McDermott in the game. Okay, now he's starting. You got 4 bad defenders. We love number 4 around here, but not when it's the number of bad defenders in your starting lineup. That's not going to get it done. That's not going to get it done. Doug McDermott, 9 points. Nikola Mirotic, 2 points. I don't need a total of that bad. Not guarding your man. I don't need it that bad. But like, no, I don't need it that bad. So I don't understand exactly what they're doing I don't understand exactly what Fred Hoiberg is doing with his rotations. But in terms of his offense, a lot of it does look very good. And I do like that part. And especially, again, with Joakim Noah. Joakim Noah is fantastic. It's fantastic in this offense. It caters to his skill set. Because Joakim, he's a good passer. He's not as good as people kind of say he is, but he is a good passer. And you know what he does too? He sets excellent screens. Joakim Noah sets screens that people can't get around. He's an excellent screener. So I was really impressed by that. So I'll leave it there. But I need to see something out of Billy Donovan if this team is going to be a title contender. And I think they need to contend. I think they need to contend because you don't want Kevin Durant looking too hard elsewhere. You don't want that. You saw what happened to Portland when LaMarcus Aldridge looked too hard elsewhere. He left. So you don't want that to happen. And Aldridge was not in a bad situation. That was a solid team. You know, he's got a young budding star point guard in Damian Lillard. See ya. He goes to San Antonio. So it can happen to you as an organization if you aren't putting a star Hall of Fame caliber player in position to win championships. So it can happen to the Thunder as well. So I think the Thunder really need to get better, and they need to get better fast. And it starts with the coaching staff, because right now, the things they're doing out there are not helping their players maximize their abilities. With that said, I'll wrap it up there. The Thunder fall to the Chicago Bulls on the road, 98 to 104. You know what you got to do, man. You go to seniorbasketballanalyst.com, get all your NBA news right there, one-stop shop. Follow me on Twitter at SBA4String. I'm all over Instagram and all over Vine. We got all kinds of highlights up there. And my thoughts on the games. You want to get involved in the conversation, just hit me up in the comments section. Hit me up on Twitter. Thumbs up the video. You know that.